All right, thanks for tuning in to this special edition of Leading Forecast and talking about what is still Tropical Storm Isaac. Of course, here in about half an hour there will be a new update, which we will be posting on the website as well as the Twitter and Facebook and let you know what's going on there. But let's go ahead and we'll talk about what's going on as of right now. Right now, this was the information posted by the National Hurricane Center as of 2 p.m. Eastern Time on Tropical Storm Isaac. We do have max sustained winds of 60 miles per hour with a northwestern movement at 17 miles per hour. Center of location was 20.8 north and 75.3 west, and there's your location. Taking a look, this is the new forecast cone as we go out several days here, and you can see bringing it all the way up through this area, and by the time we get down towards the Keys, bringing it into a hurricane status. In fact, by the time we get up here, we're looking at potentially showing a Category 2 or Category 3 hurricane, and some of the models are starting to really pick up on that. Going on over, here's that. This is from the Weather Underground, and you can see right there, that's red. That means it is a Category 3 hurricane by early in the morning on Tuesday, and will probably make landfall probably between 7 and 8 o'clock here, if this should be the path it takes, right around Destin, Florida, the way it's pulling it kind of right up through here. We'll just have to wait and see. This is going to have to be tweaked a little bit, but exactly how much and where, we're not sure. Going on over, we do have hurricane warnings now in effect for parts of Florida, including the Keys, and also as well as the Dry Tortuga, I believe it is, down there, that's under the hurricane warning. And then we also have tropical storm and warnings in effect for the eastern part of the Florida Peninsula, and then tropical storm and hurricane watches. If you get on the National Weather Service website, which is weather.gov, you can get on there and view all of the current watches and warnings. Going over to the satellite, you can see this is Isaac sitting right around here. We do have the eye, which is, give me just a second here. We'll zoom in a little bit here. And the center of circulation, I believe, at least on this satellite image, is right off of the Cuban coast. So we are starting to see this move off of the coast, and will probably move right up through here, which is something we were worried could happen. Was it moves up through, I guess, what you would call the Florida Straits, and moves over water instead of moving over Canada, and that's going to allow this storm to either keep its intensity or possibly even strengthen, especially once it gets a little bit more towards the Gulf. Going on over to the water vapor imagery, here's our storm down here. We don't have a lot of dry air remaining. We do have this little patch here, but it is starting to become more saturated, and the dry air that was down here is starting to become more saturated, and I really don't think we're going to pull a lot of that into the storm. I think as this starts to make its way up through here, it's probably going to be fine as far as dry air. This is the trough right here that's keeping this storm more northward than we thought it was originally going to. We thought this trough would move off and the storm would stay kind of south and west of the current track, go over Cuba, and that would really kind of hurt this storm quite a bit. But it's actually this trough that's starting to pull the storm more off to the north and to the west here, and eventually turn it back north, as we do have another trough building in here as well. Going on over, this is kind of the forecast model spread, and we'll try to zoom in on this a little bit so you can see it. And this is the model spread, bringing in anywhere from Panama City even all the way over towards New Orleans. We think probably from, say, or in my opinion, from Biloxi over towards Tallahassee. That's probably your best area for potential impact for landfall. Taking a look at some forecast models here. Going on over, let's zoom back out here so I can see which model this one was. This is the Canadian model, and as we look, this one's the one that brings it right around New Orleans here as a category, probably a Category 2 hurricane, it looks like, with the kind of millibars we have. It looks like we're probably dealing with like a 980 millibar low or something like that. Going on over, this is the GFDL model, which brings this thing, looks like it's probably going to impact somewhere between Pensacola and Destin, maybe say Fort Walton Beach, and these are indicating, as we can see here, some Category 4, almost Category 4 winds on the west side of the eye wall here, and that is 130 miles per hour, Category 3, another mile per hour, and you'd be dealing with a Category 4 storm, as I have highlighted up there. And so a very, very big storm potentially, according to that model. Going on over to the European model, this is as we get into midday on Tuesday, still out in the Gulf, but this is indicating a 100 mile per hour storm at this point, a Category 2 hurricane, and this brings it in more around the Panama City area. We go over now to the GFS model. This is as we get into early afternoon on Tuesday. It is at 111.7 knots or 135 miles per hour out here, and the GFS brings it, I think it ends up bringing it more up this way, more towards Mobile and Mobile Bay. We'll just have to wait and see, but this is bringing it at 135 miles per hour or a Category 3 storm. The no-gaps, zooming in on that, again, this is showing very strong winds on the east side of this low, and then as we go into the RPM model here, which is our rapid precision model, this is showing a Category 3 storm with those yellows. So we'll just have to wait and see on exactly, or I'm sorry, a Category 2 storm with those yellows. And going on over to the HWRF models, this is a very interesting model. This is showing depicting a Category 3 winds impacting places, maybe even up towards Tampa, and then eventually kind of making landfall just south of Tallahassee as possibly like a Category 1, Category 2 storm. We'll just have to wait and see how that goes. So anyways, you know, there's a lot of time between now and when this thing's going to actually make landfall. It could change paths to some extent. There's a lot of variables that are going to go into this, but a lot of the forecast models are starting to hint that we could see a major hurricane by Monday, or I'm sorry, Tuesday, as this thing gets out into the Gulf into very warm water. So that's all I have for the day. If you're along the Florida coast, make sure, or the southeastern coast for that matter, make sure to pay close attention to this storm as it moves your way. Go ahead and get your hurricane preparedness actions intact, and get ready for this storm. In fact, we'll just have to wait and see where this goes. I'm sure we'll start seeing some evacuation potential as we get either into late tomorrow or Monday. Anyways, that's all I have for now. Thanks for tuning in. Have a great weekend.